not put up with the reality. The reality is that the world is changing, and it's transitioning to multipolar construction, which this transition might be painful for many countries, and especially for the United States, because the United States, the only way it perceives itself would be like this world policeman who would interfere everywhere and promote its interests, and that's something that United States is not ready to accept. No matter what can be heard in the official speeches and statements of U.S. representatives, including, of course, Blinken. As for Russia and China, we are genuine supporters of multilateralism, and we think that a lot of countries can play a leading role in the world, but there shouldn't be the dominance of one country. It doesn't mean that we are anti-American, not at all. Everybody understands that U.S. is a great country and it has a role to play in this multipolar world. We have big doubts about Europe, frankly, because Europe hasn't shown that it's an independent player, that it's a reasonable player. It's shooting once and again in its own feet, economically, politically. I don't know where it would end and where it would locate Europe in this multipolar construction. But Russia and China are steady supporters of multilateralism. We are promoting it. We are totally on the same page in this. We are against any dictatorship in the world politics. We are against any measures, coercive measures, any sanctions. Everything that U.S. is doing is absolutely contrary to the international law. And we are in favor of international law as it is formulated in the UN Charter, and we are very much opposing to the concept of rules-based international order, which U.S. slyly tries to get on top of international law. And for many people, it may sound very similar, but it's absolutely not one and the same thing. So that's why we are very much intensely cooperating with China, both here in the UN, bilaterally. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's something like 43rd or something meeting, bilateral meeting between Chairman Xi and President Putin. And they of course, meet quite frequently. And you know that this is the first visit of President Putin after election, and the first visit of Chairman Xi was also to Russia. And this is a state visit, so it will give a good opportunity to touch base on a lot of issues. And we know that China is a great neighbor, and we are very much keen to develop our cooperation economically. We don't see any threat coming from China. We see only benefits from international cooperation, from openness of economies and all these things. And we are now proving it in practice that the world can function and can prosper without any consent of the United States, regardless of the fact whether the United States is giving green light to this or that alliance or not. I think that a lot of countries are proving it. Right now, it's not only about Russia and China, it's about BRICS, it's about other countries. So there are a lot of emerging poles of this multipolar system, which will really set the tune in the future. And it's up to the United States to realize it and to adapt. And the sooner the United States does it, the better, I think, for the future positions of the United States, because I see that there are a lot of tensions in this country. And many of these tensions are really result of its absolutely ruthless and crazy foreign policy, which very frequently can't be explained in a rational way.
Yes, indeed. And maybe in this final minute or so, Ambassador Polyanskiy, I remember when I met you and after the meeting that we had about the impact of Western weapons to Ukraine, you told me that one of the big problems with the United Nations system right now is that there is such an undue influence, such an oversized influence from just a few countries, the United States, and of course its collective West allies. And we've seen this so dramatically when it comes to Gaza. Today's Nakba Day. And of course, there's still just a raging, what many people around the world are calling a genocide happening in Gaza. The United States, a huge party to this. Could you just maybe your final comments on Russia's position in this particular crisis and the role of diplomacy moving forward in the region?
This is really a very difficult topic, because what we face right now is that Security Council is absolutely paralyzed because of one of its members, United States, which has used its veto power 5 times in this context since October 7th. So we are very consistent in our policies, and actually we were the first to propose a resolution on permanent ceasefire after the events of the 7th of October. We condemned from the outset the acts of violence against Israeli civilians, and we were absolutely unequivocal about this. But at the same time, we immediately condemned the Israeli response, which was absolutely disproportionate, and what happened after that is absolutely outside of any scope of normal human understanding. So it's borderline genocide, I would say. We are, of course, very careful about using these terms, but the Special Commissioner for Human Rights and his office made several reports which are saying that it's a kind of Israel's actions have surpassed this threshold, the genocidal threshold. But well, it's the words are maybe not as important, but it's quite clear that there is a slaughter going on in Gaza, and we all want to stop this slaughter. I think that even United States, even U.S. diplomats are very much embarrassed when they see what's happening. They're embarrassed sometimes by the behavior of Israeli representative here, who is making very strange stunts in the UN, theatrical ones. Of course, he's playing for internal audience, but he is openly insulting not only us but the United Nations. He is behaving in a very bad way for United States to perceive. But the administration is clearly not the U.S. administration is clearly not ready to change its policies. It supplies Israel with arms. It starts to criticize it a little bit, but very moderately. When under the enormous pressure, U.S. gave way to a resolution which, for the first time, demanded immediate ceasefire for the period of Ramadan, and then leading to lasting ceasefire. Immediately after that, the U.S. representative, in her explanation of the vote, tried to kind of denigrate this resolution, saying that this resolution is not binding, which created an outroar, because all Security Council resolutions are binding, of course, it goes without saying. But it looked like it was kind of a pretext for Israel of not to implement it because it's not a binding one. This is a weakness of the U.S., no matter how strong it wants to present itself. And now we are still in the middle of diplomatic efforts. We hope that at some point, better soon than later, U.S. will be together with us, and we will be able to put an end to this absolutely terrible, unhumane Israeli operation that is being conducted against Gaza. And there are no justifications to this, whatever really Israeli officials are putting this. What they are doing to Gaza has absolutely no justification. So we condemn the act of this on the 7th of October, but at the same time, we resolutely condemn the actions of Israel in Gaza, and we think that this is something that the world shouldn't see in the 21st century.
Well, Ambassador Polyanskiy, I really appreciated you taking the time out today to give the audience here, especially Russia's position on the diplomatic front. It was really good to see you again. Is there any final words that you have before you depart?
Well, I just when I interact with people like you and with other people who are open-minded, I really have the hope that we will be able to cooperate in a better world, in a multipolar world, and there will be quite a becoming place for the US because there are a lot of people in the US who really love peace and who understand all the problems that their country creates in the world, and sometimes they are ashamed of these problems, and of course they are not supporting them. So that's very encouraging, and I hope that at some point of time there will be a sane leadership, sane administration that would really listen to what the citizens of this country want, and not the deep state that really calls the shots.
Yes, indeed. I share that sentiment. Ambassador Polyanskiy, thank you so much. Have a good rest of your evening. We carry on here, everybody. Take care, Ambassador Polyanskiy. I will hopefully see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.